Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Lisa Bassini. The name of my company is The Baking Coach, and today we are making red velvet cupcakes from scratch. Okay, just a warning, I have 2 dogs and I'm trying a new technique today. My technique is to just leave the door open so they don't whine to go out or whine to come in. So anyway, so I have my cupcake pan right here, and always get your cupcake liners in your pan so they're ready to go. In this bowl here, I am going to combine some sugar. Let's get some sugar in here. Follow your recipe. So I'm just gonna basically put the ingredients in, and you will all be given a recipe to make the actual red velvet cupcakes. But in here is the sugar, and I'm also going to add the butter. Okay. Alrighty. Now, I'm just gonna let that sit for just a minute. In another bowl or in a bag, which I do a lot because I hate to do dishes. This bag here, I've got my flour in here, and I'm going to add to that my cocoa powder, my baking soda, and the salt. Okay, and then I'm going to simply twist the bag, shake it up, and now I've got a mix so quickly. Okay, now here we go. So you could use a hand mixer, or you could just use a rubber spatula, and you could mix together the butter and the sugar. If that's not combining very well, you could also use your hand. Get a glove. Where are my gloves? And at this stage, you could definitely use a glove. I use a glove all the time. So I'm going to just mix this, squeeze the sugar into the butter. You can use a hand mixer and mix this up, but if you don't have one, you can still make cupcakes. You just use a glove and your hand, and it works just the same. Because at one point we made cupcakes with no hand mixer. I know. So you could use your actual hand if you wanted to, but then you would have to wash it. And if you see with the glove, it doesn't stick much, only a little bit, because that sugar really gets soaked up in the butter. Okay, so enough of that. I'm gonna pull this off and I'm just gonna throw it out. Now we're gonna add in your eggs. This is gonna take 3 eggs. So we're gonna get those in. The one thing about eggs is you never crack them directly into the bowl. You always crack them into something separate and then get them into the bowl. 1, 2, 3. You could mix this a little bit each time you add in an egg, but we are trying to save time today in the video, so I am going to mix them all together now. But you definitely want to have the butter and the sugar together as one before you add in your eggs. And here comes the dog. Hopefully they'll behave. I have dog biscuits that I just shot the video for dog biscuits right before this one. So if they get out of line, I'll just throw a biscuit at them. Okay. So I'm mixing this up. You can see, working really nicely. Once again, you can use a hand mixer, that's no problem. Actually makes it go faster, but I'm saving my hand mixer for the icing. You can also make the icing from hand too, but it takes a little bit longer. But the same kind of technique. It would just require a lot of stirring and a lot of banging the spatula against the side of the bowl to cause friction to help that combine. Alrighty, so now we have I'm gonna save this egg bowl, because what I like to do with let's get our vanilla in, just so I don't forget it. I'm gonna get the vanilla in. Now, our liquid ingredients. We have our sour cream. It's gonna go into this larger bowl. waste any of that. It's the good stuff. Going to add in some milk. Okay. Then a little bit of white vinegar. That helps the active ingredient really work in the dessert. Then I'm going to add the red food dye. We all know why we need that. This is red velvet. Okay, so I've got this delicious mixture. I would not drink if my life depended on it. It would taste terrible, but it makes the cupcakes taste really good. Okay, so, well, maybe I would drink it if I really had to. But anyway, I'd probably get sick. Okay, so, just a little baking humor. All right, I'm gonna add in about half of the flour mixture. Whoop. Stir that into the butter with the eggs and the sugar. Go slow, can't rush this. Because if you do, you'll just end up with everything all over the table or the counter or wherever you're mixing. Stirring this up. Then I'm going to add in half of the liquid mixture. And this is alternating wet with dry. I'm going to add in about half of this. Go. Slowly. This is where the red velvet gets the real red from. And adding this additional dye really does change the flavor of the chocolate cake, because that's what essentially this is. Now I'm going to add in some more dry, leaving a little bit more at the end. Go. Actually, let's just get it all in there. That's what I did before. I made some cupcakes in advance so I could show you how to finish them. Okay, get the rest of the dry ingredient in there. Giving that a stir. Nice batter. Just gonna get that so you don't see any flour anymore. There we go. And then lastly, the rest of the liquid. Now you don't want to over mix this. So once this is mixed, you are good to go. Let me just jump this in the sink. There we go. Okay. I wish I could stir faster, folks, but I don't want to get it all over the place. Okay, so here we have our cupcake batter all done. Fantastic. Wasn't that easy? Just all by hand, all done. It looks wonderful. All right, so now, it's very hard to pour from here to here. Kind of makes it a little crazy. When you make red velvet cupcakes, especially with this batter, when you fill your cupcake, I like to, number one, pour it into something smaller so I have a bit more control. So I'm going to use this measuring cup. Plus it has a spout, which my bowl does not. And a spout is really helpful. Oops, you don't want to use a fork. There we go. So now we're going to pour the batter in just about halfway. Don't do it all the way. Just half. A lot of times in recipes it says 2/3 of the way. It's half, or else your cupcakes get too big. Go. Let's get this in there. Okay. Get some more in the cup. Makes it so much easier. Keeps your cupcake pan nice and clean. It's worth taking out the extra piece of equipment, or you could even measure your milk in this, and then you're multi-purposing your measuring cup just about halfway. Go. All right. So this recipe makes just about, I would say, 14 to 16 cupcakes. Just a little bit more than 12, so you will need 2 cupcake pans. So let's get the rest of this batter in here real quick. Yeah, probably maybe 16 to 18, depending upon how big your, as long as you don't over, fill a cupcake or 2. Okay, so I'm gonna get this in the sink. My hands a quick wash. Alrighty. And now these will go in the oven and bake for approximately 25 minutes at 350 degrees. So I'm gonna put these to the side, pretend like I put them in my oven, and after they're cooled, here they are, wonderful red velvet cupcakes. So I'm gonna set those over there. We're gonna need some frosting. So in this bowl, I have some butter, some cream cheese, and a little bit of vanilla extract. So I'm gonna whip this up together. I need to get some music or something going when I'm mixing. Like I need a DJ in my kitchen. That would be so much fun. I gotta do that once, baking dance party. Where's my sugar? Here's my sugar. Okay, so I'm gonna add in, this is 1 pound of confectionery sugar. I'm gonna add in about 1/3. Go nice and slowly, or else you'll have a mess on your hands. Trust me, I've wiped out many a kitchen in my day. Oh good, you're doing good on timing. Okay, and then once it's going a little bit, then you can increase the speed. Okay, increase the speed now. All right, now with the mixer still going, try to add in, well, I don't think I'm that talented today, so I'm not even gonna try to do that. Okay, I'm gonna add in a little bit more sugar, about another 1/3. Let's get that mixed. Slowly. I went too fast. Really making frostings, a hand mixer is so much better. And then if it goes to climb up your mixer, make the speed faster. So if the frosting's climbing up the blades, you just need to go faster because you don't want it to run into the engine. That's when you know you can put it at a higher speed, because then it'll fling off of your blade. Okay. All right, I'm gonna add in the last of the sugar in just a moment. Okay, here is the last of our sugar going in. Okay, done. Yep. Gonna start slow. Well, I'll start slowly. Start slowly. If you notice, I always work on a piece of parchment paper. It just helps with cleanup. If it starts to climb up your blade, you gotta go a little faster. You have to, it's a very serious balancing act here without going too fast and not allowing the frosting to climb up the blade into the engine of the mixer. So now I can go even faster, because if I don't, the frosting is going to climb up into the shaft of the mixer. Alrighty. Okay, so let's just scrape down the sides of the bowl just to kind of help it a little. Put this to the side. Oh, this looks so good. I can't wait to bite into one of these cupcakes. This is one of my favorites, besides carrot cake. Oh, carrot cake cupcakes. That's a close second there, folks. Okay, let me give this another little quick stir. And then I'm gonna run my blade just to get all the frosting off. Set it aside. Okay. Now I've got a pastry bag waiting over here. Puff it down. Fill my bag with this delicious frosting. Okay. And you could always refill it. I put in about half. Push it down. Okay, twist it. Snip the end. Now I've got my frosting here. I'm gonna line up some of my cupcakes so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Now, if you put a lot of frosting on your cupcakes, then it really makes the cupcakes extremely fattening. So if you really give it enough frosting just so that you have that sweet taste, but don't go crazy with it because number one, you may run out for all of your cupcakes, but number two, it's just overkill. So just give a gentle squeeze, and all I'm doing here is just squeezing a little bit, covering my cupcakes. I'm gonna do about 6 all together. And then I'm gonna just set this down. And then I always have to make sure I'm not poisoning people. So what I do is I take one cupcake and I take it out of its wrapper and I just pinch it and I use it as like a little topping for my cupcake. So you're just gonna pinch it and then crumble some on top, just to make a little garnish on top of your cupcake. Or you could just leave them plain. And then you always wanna make sure, I love the top of the cupcake. My mouth is watering because I'm gonna do, oops, oh no. I'm gonna do something very bad today. I never do this, but today I'm doing it. So I'm going to take my cupcake and a little bit of frosting. You should always make sure that your cupcakes are delicious before you serve them to people. But as soon as I shut this camera off, I'm gonna be shoving this in my mouth. So, this is Red Velvet Cupcakes. My name is Lisa Bassini. I'm the baking coach. To find out more about the baking coach or to get today's recipe, you can log on to bakingcoach.com. If you have any questions, bakingcoach.com. I want to thank you all so much. Enjoy these. They're magnificent. If you only want to, if you make 16 or 18, and you want to just have 6 done and then freeze the rest, don't put the icing on them. You can also freeze the icing separately, and then you can freeze the cupcakes for up to 1 month, 2 months. And then when you want to eat them, of course, you take them out, you let them sit to room temperature, and then you would also allow your frosting to sit a little bit out so it's not so hard to pipe. And you would just squeeze them on and then just enjoy your cupcakes. So you can divide your cupcakes into 3 sets of 6 or 3 sets of 5. As long as you fill them up correctly, you should yield definitely 16. And then frost them, and then you can divide up the frosting too and store that as well. Okay, enough about storage. My name is Lisa Bassini. Oh, one more thing. These cupcakes, if they're not enjoyed immediately, you should store them in the fridge until you're ready to eat them. Don't leave them out for days. Just put them in the fridge. And then when you want to eat one, you could let it sit out for about an hour so the frosting softens up. Okay, so that's it. My name is Lisa Bassini, and the name of my company is The Baking Coach. Thank you all so much for joining me today. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye now.